while you were setting up the camera, I was over with Felix and he showed me his new bike.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool because it's Stormtrooper themed and everything, and I just think this really, because at first I'm like, why is it all white? Doesn't have any decals on it and stuff. And I thought, oh wait, it's got the Stormtrooper helmet. Okay, it's a Stormtrooper bike, cool. And then it hit me. This is the perfect bike for somebody who's just learning how to ride because it's a Stormtrooper bike, and that means he's not going to hit a damn thing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
He is safe.
He won't need a helmet or pads or nothing.
Nothing. Oh, perfect.
It's gonna
That's
miss
right.
everything.
It's gonna miss it.
I tried to hit this wall 3 times and I've missed every time.
Oh, by the way, we are taping.
Oh, we are. Oh, we are.
Yeah. So, well, there we go.
There we go. Now we're.
And before we do the whole official kickoff, is first I want to say I got my autistic modeler, the autistic modeler, Louie, gave me a hat, so I'm wearing this, and thank you for the hat, bud. Little to his channel. Okay, I'm done with that. That's all you're getting from me, Louie. You're done. But want to thank you for the hat.
He's hit the 1,000 mark.
He has.
So it's time to unsubscribe.
Yep. I'm done with him.
We did that with James. And
yep, we did that to James. Now I'm done with Louie.
Congratulations to Mr. Brandon White.
Oh, yes.
High-scale modeler, because he has hit the threshold now. So, good job. You can now unsubscribe from Brandon.
Yep, I'm going to do it right now.
I subscribed to him 3 times, so that when I unsubscribe, it's going to be
it'll really hurt.
3 times better. So
that is awesome. You're a true friend.
I'm a true friend.
Yeah, I've unsubscribed to all of them. I think I even unsubscribed to you.
I have a logarithm on my phone that when somebody hits 1,000 subscribers, it automatically unsubscribes me.
Oh, you got to show me that app. I want to do that because, you know, the heck.
Because everybody's hitting 1,000.
I know. It's like, that's awesome though. I mean, people are watching.
I swear, it's like.
Do people like this hobby?
Some YouTube Oprahs out there. You get 1,000. You get 1,000. You get 1,000. Right? You don't even have a channel, and you don't even have content. You get 1,000. I'm like, oh, hey, cool.
Well, to kick it off, this is BG.
And that's Luka Cee.
And we are
the Model Car Guys
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Thanks for. And we got the stapler. And we're live in the studio again.
Yes.
Well, not live. I mean, we're live.
We're both
live.
Yeah, alive.
But yeah, so we're cooking with gas here, and we got a great suggestion for the subject. 2 of them actually. So we're combining.
We're combining
on our Facebook group, which we opened it back up. We shut it down for a while. I explained it why we did. Now we got it going because it's a great way for you guys to communicate to us about ideas that you have for this show.
And it was nicely done. Yeah. And a very well worded essay that you posted as well.
Thank you. And it got everything, I think, on track.
I'm glad you took out all the uhs and ums.
Yeah, well, you know, I had Felix proofread and edit for me.
While he's painting one of your cars.
While he's painting my, which, that's another thing I want to make a little. Did you see that?
Did you see how I segued in that?
Yeah, I love how you segued in that. Yeah, so like my last 2 videos, I was getting ready to start this cool thing. I had this car set aside for a year because I got this built up out of the Andy stash collection, you know.
The legendary stash of Andy.
It was one of the old 64 Galaxies, and it was gold, and the way it was painted, and they did a pretty good job hand painting the chrome. It really looked good, like usable. Everything looked usable on it. It was left in boxes, so it was nicked and scratched and things. There were even a tire mark on it.
A little bit of box scratch.
But it was perfect. It was like, you know, all the wiped away gold paint. It was just in a perfect way that, you know, what you saw was the white of the plastic. All you had to do is go with some rust. Bam! It would have totally changed the look of that, and model would have been done. And that's all I wanted to do. I want to put wheels on it. I wanted to. Yeah, I was just going to do a whole.
You weren't even restoring.
I wasn't even restoring it. It was. I had it set aside, and the whole time I had it set aside, I should have known. Felix was really intrigued with this model. He kept going up. There was many times I had to stop him. He wanted to grab it. He'd take the hood off and look at the engine. He loved that model. Now there's a green one I have. I've showed that before, actually right there. Yeah, are you okay? I didn't hit you. That,
I saw it coming.
the green one, I want to do something else with. It's not so patinaed, so it doesn't have that look that the gold one had.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been perfect. He didn't care about that one. It was that gold one he loved. But it's turned out his favorite color is green. So he got into my room when I wasn't home, which I keep it locked, but that little guy knows how to unlock things. He loves model cars,
I
man.
shouldn't have taught him how to pick locks.
And he comes in and he loves green, and he found my like bright green. I had a green that's for an upcoming project that I don't want to say what it is yet.
Wow.
It was for something I'm going to paint.
Let's just ruin all the projects.
And he opened this fresh new Mr. Hobby lacquer base paint.
Oh.
Opened it up and took and just smeared it all over the car. He was making a masterpiece. And I saw that and I went, oh, well, that's a bummer. Okay, so I needed to make a video to let everybody know because I got a lot of great reactions. People were looking forward to this whole idea I had. I did a whole stance video on how the car was sitting and beautiful. And I can't do it. And it's not a matter of dumping it in and just strip it. A lot of people, I'll just strip it and do it. I go, no. Now that turned it into a heavy project. I got other things I'm working on. So the whole point of that.
With the lacquer on there now.
Oh yeah. So it's not, there's no retrieving that. So Felix loves that model. I put it aside. I'm going to save it for him. When he gets a little older, I'm going to let him build it.
Oh, even better.
And we'll do a video when he's a little older. And maybe that'll be a video that we'll bust it out.
It's kind of like my grandma. If my dad didn't eat his breakfast in the morning, she'd save it for him for dessert.
That was exactly what I was thinking.
So my dad.
And he better eat it.
One time he didn't eat his breakfast, and that was the result.
But yeah, so I mean, but the thing was, he got into trouble. He had to be punished.
Mm-hmm. Disciplined.
Yes, thank you. I'm not the punisher. I'm the discipline.
No.
He had to learn. The thing that I was concerned about, there's a lot of chemicals, there's a lot of lacquer thinner, in bottles. Obviously, he can open up bottles. We saw that. And of course, X-Acto blades.
Yes.
A couple of them, and other sharp implements.
So
I don't want the little man hurt.
when we have company over to the house, that's not of the model building genre.
Yes.
Because we do have friends outside of the hobby, like two.
More than I have.
I'll even go back and close the door to the hobby room. I might not lock it, but I'll close the door just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, to play it safe.
Yeah, just to play it safe. Because, I remember when I was a kid, my dad would build stuff for me, and everything was on the dining room table, and he would collect it all up.
Oh, yeah.
I never knew where he kept any of that stuff. But I never went looking for it either.
Yeah. Same with me. My dad, I never knew where all that stuff was.
I also
It was a big
didn't have a
no-no.
compulsion to paint everything green, too.
Yeah. My dad.
He's in his green phase.
Yeah. he loves green. Green is his favorite. Green and yellow. But my dad, he built all my early models for me. I would get models for Christmas. I've told the story many times. He would build them. I wasn't interested in building. I liked watching him build, and I liked playing with him. He'd play with me afterwards with them. And but I never knew where the tools were. He'd bust it out, do the model, and
It just magically appear.
Yeah, but I remember the one thing that bent my mind.
Tools.
Yeah, that bent my mind about even then, and then when I started building the model, I kind of did this. Is he didn't have X-Acto blades.
No.
You know what he used? He used a box cutter.
Oh.
That's what he used. Whoa.
Okay.
So when I
That's
started
serious.
building model cars when I was like 18 is when I started.
Using the number 11 blade and you get that little slice in your fingers like, oh god, that hurts, type of thing. But the box cutter is like, let's just get serious and do them all.
Done, handled, finished. Well, see, and it's nice. On the same hand, X-Acto blade. You can see. You guys can't see it, but I have an X-Acto blade. Okay, same. Probably the same incident happened. But I have over here where I went through the nail and everything, with a box cutter. Here, but there's no scar.
I'm just gonna
So which is worse,
pass out for a
the
second.
box cutter or the X-Acto? I'm maimed for life here. I'm scarred for life. But the box cutter, it all healed.
Oh, you're scarred in many more ways than just a finger.
Well, anyways, what's the show about? We had, yeah. There it went the car.
Yeah.
But what the show is really about, we're going to talk about right now. We had a great suggestion from
Yes.
someone, and they were talking about tube glue.
Tube glue. Now,
Yeah,
tube glue specifically, but we're broadening the scope to adhesives
now,
generally.
Yep. And then someone else also asked.
Which also kind of goes along with the world of adhesives.
True. It goes with setting solutions for decals.
Setting solutions for decals.
So we're going all chemical today.
And yes, I have a logo on everything I own.
Yeah, I
You
have
should see
some
my
of. Yeah, he is the not me. I've got all kind and also my favorite.
Oh yeah, so you got the Mark Fit.
Yeah, you have Mark Fit. I have Mark Fit.
Strong.
I have Mark Fit Strong. I've never used Mark
and
Fit.
I have Mark Fit.
I never.
And I think that if my name was Mark, I would join it. I would create a gym and call it Mark Fit. That sounds like a strong.
Well, I have a friend by the name of Mark, and I will bring it up to him.
Yeah, he should change his last name to Fit.
That's a great idea. I'll bring it up to him. He'll probably look at me and walk away. But let's see.
Mark, he'll just punch you. I am fit. I'm trying to just take a second here for a commercial break.
Okay. Well, let's take a commercial break and then we'll get in on this.
We'll see you in a second.
Bye. And welcome back.
Welcome back, folks. So, we just did a quick search here and found the comment by Mr. Michael Sproul. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. I know that most people used the tube glue when they first started building models, but do you guys still use it for some assembly things? Use it for something other than its intended purpose? No, actually, no, I wouldn't, because it doesn't work very well unless it is styrene.
And sniffing it doesn't do anything anymore. They got rid of whatever it was, you know, what we did in the 70s.
I digress. Anyway, so that's a very good question, Michael, because and I did reply to his question on
Facebook.
Facebook.
We both did.
And my reply was that I never really got into using tube glue. Not because I don't feel it doesn't work. It works very, very well.
Though sometimes too well.
Too well to the point where you can't get stuff back apart again.
Or just, it also has a tendency to deform if you use too much.
Oh, wow, yeah. I remember using it on, I had a G.I. Joe vehicle that had a broken part on there, so I glued it back on with tube glue, and I ended up leaving it in the backyard to dry or cure, and it became a hot day, and wherever that glue had been on that vehicle caused it to, I mean, the glue reacted with the heat and the sun and solar flares and whatever, and it just destroyed the vehicle.
Oh yeah,
short story. But you know, hearts were broken.
That was a short story.
That was a short story. Yeah, so hearts were broken, tears were had.
And now you know.
And now you know. So, and knowing is half the battle. I'm going to do that in every episode. So,
I have the memes.
as I was replying to Michael, it was making me think about tube glue in its general purposes and stuff. I'm thinking, you know what? I should go out and get some of that and challenge myself to use it on a build to see if I can perfect the use of it, because that was one reason why I stepped away from using it, because I was having a hard time not making it into a glue bomb. So I went to the lobby of hobbies yesterday and I got myself one, a little tube right there, and it is part of my collection of adhesives that, oddly enough, looks sort of like the control panel from the Fortress of Solitude in the Superman movies.
It does.
It's just,
yeah, might as well move it out there.
Might as well.
Look at that.
You want to take away Superman's powers? You put this crystal in over here, and boom.
Bam-o,
bam.
winning.
Now Clark is Kent. So I have a multitude of different adhesives I like to use.
I do too. I have a whole bunch here that I'll go over. I was like buying a bunch of these just to experiment and try to see what I like, and I have some like, I don't even know where some of it came in. Remember 10X, which is MEK, which you can't get anymore, so that's over with. And I think that's what all this garbage is. And then there's one of my favorites. I love
Bob
Bob Smith stuff.
Yeah.
This is, you know, for using CA glue, and they have the best quick set, Insta set.
And they also have a debonder too.
Yes, I have that too. I keep it around because I do glue my fingers together. I know I had a commenter say that he's never done it because he's awesome, and you must be stupid if you do, but I did. I even did a video on it. I happened to just buy the debonder, and I glued them good together.
If it doesn't
so I hit the camera, and I went, it works! So yeah, that stuff's great.
The cool thing about the Bob Smith stuff is, you know, this is a large bottle and it does take a while to go through it.
Yeah.
So these things will clog up on you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go into our local hobby store and get replacement pieces.
Yeah, a lot of
you do have to pay individually for like 30 cents each or something.
But that's cool that Bob Smith offers those.
Yes.
And a lot of hobby shops do carry extras.
And different size tips.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the caps are color coded to the bottle, as mine isn't, because I couldn't remember what I had, so I just picked out the pretty color and went on the way. Off we go.
Whatever.
So, this guy, Mod Podge, I have the Mate Matte Mate.
Pretty much use it for what the same as this.
Yes, and this has, so that, the window maker, crystal window maker stuff.
Yeah.
I find works really, really well, but if you're not keeping an eye on it, because it is super thin, it will migrate.
Yeah, it will.
It will migrate.
That's what I liked about it.
It will do a capillary action to a point and get underneath things, but then it will also come back out.
Yeah. What I like, and then but the thing that's nice about it is when it dries clear, and if you have a little bump there, it's if you're really good with X-Acto, you can like cut it right at the line of the glass and peel it right off. It doesn't hurt anything.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I've never had any issues with that, so I've always been able to get rid of the excess if it squirts out.
That's weird, because I dropped one of that on the rear window of a build one time, and I didn't get to it fast enough, and it cured out, and I could not remove it.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
it was on there.
I've never had issues with it. I usually, if I get any extra on, I let it cure because it peels right off like rubber cement.
Well, apparently it doesn't work in the center of the window.
There must be some chemically bonding agents that are in the center of the.
I must have had like a thumbprint on there that it was like, yes!
Yeah, that I'm going to attach to. But I've always had really good luck with this stuff. But if it, it's getting harder to find.
Actually,
so hodgepodge.
Actually, no.
Or Mod Podge.
Mod Podge, and I have, of course, the Mate Matte Mate, or Mate Matte Mate.
Okay.
This is supposed to dry to a matte finish, and I haven't used it in quite a while. The liner, the cap is stuck in there. Makes me think of a pot pie. But no, I still have nearly a full container because I watched HPI Guy, and I saw his tips about using this as a fixant.
Mm-hmm.
That's a brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
A fixant for sticking.
For your tooths.
First day with my new teeth. So he was, using this to put windshields in place.
Yeah.
And sometimes, not every manufacturer does this, but sometimes you get something where the windshield is just outside the windshield frame. And I was like looking for a way to try and put a windshield in without getting. If you get something on it, you can clean it back off again easier. Mm-hmm. So I was trying this stuff out. I didn't use very much of it, but it does do the job.
It does. I wonder. Okay, because I know that's really popular. I mean, I have actually 2 bottles of this. I have one that's in a black that says Model Master, which.
Oh, let's go to the museum.
I'll have to hold on to that one. And then this one, and it's funny. I have a lot of weird adhesives that I never went and bought because I think they would end up in I buy a model.
Yeah.
And there'd be some glue. Lots of times I would find some of the stuff in a model box I bought, in a bottle that I bought in the box.
Would be a tube of glue.
When I buy it at a swap meet because it's a used model. And I've come across a lot of these. Like I know I never bought this. I never would.
Is that which one's that one?
That's the Testors plastic cement.
So that's the stuff I started using when I was a kid.
Oh really?
Because my dad was teaching me how to build models, and we had the tube glue stuff, and then we had the cement stuff, right?
Yeah.
And my dad was an excellent teacher because he always wanted to be a teacher, right?
Ah.
So he was showing me about holding two parts together and then opening that up and then just putting a small dab right there. And he's like, if you look closely, you'll watch it flow throughout that seam.
Yeah.
And then you just give it some even pressure for a few seconds. And then you watch it kind of squeeze out a little bit. You'll squeeze out a little bit of the emulsified plastic.
Yeah.
He's like, then you know you're good to go and you can release the pressure and it'll suck that right back in again.
Yeah.
And he goes, and if it doesn't go back in, you can just go along and scrape it right off.
Mm.
So, I mean, I started using that stuff before I started using the tube glue, which is probably why I had such a hard time figuring out.
That's kind of interesting because, like, back to the tube glue, which was the whole start of this all. I don't know where this has to be. I don't know where this came from. I actually I was trying to find.
It's a large tube also.
I have one because this one is like fairly new. I grabbed this one thinking it was one of the old ones. Remember when it was more of an orangish red?
Yeah.
And then they had the blue one, which was non-toxic, I guess.
Non-toxic and smelled like oranges.
Yeah. And then there was this that got you
and
feeling really good.
You know my rule of thumb: if it's non-toxic, then it doesn't work.
And true. But this one, I don't know where this came because I've never bought tube glue. I haven't used it since when I was a little kid building a couple of Star Wars models and Battlestar Galactica models. And it was always a absolute wreckage.
So I took some pictures while I was at the store yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll put them up all over the place.
Wow.
And so, of all places, Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
Right? I went there to go get the tube glue. And I thought, well, let me just check around here and see what else they happen to have here, right? Because we had done the show about Testors going away, and that turned out to not be true. It turned out that it was the Model Master brand. I from everything that I had been hearing and people I had been talking to who actually run stores, they were saying that Testors was pulling back out of the market. But that doesn't seem to be true today. So, as an addendum to that video, I decided to go ahead and take a picture of a few things that they have at the store. And here's that liquid cement, the newer version of it.
Interesting.
And then look at all of the, what do they call this stuff here? Extreme Power products.
Oh, wow.
They have, and they even have the evergreen styrene, evergreen scale models. They have a canopy glue version also.
Oh, okay, so
that's what I use. This stuff here is for pre-builds and mock-ups and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
The debonder.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing that's probably gonna choke your chain is that look at that. That's the crystal clear.
Oh.
That's the crystal clear. This stuff right here. I bought this on eBay, and I did not know I could go down to the local Hubble the local Hubble telescope, and pick up a bottle of this stuff here for less than I paid for on eBay, of course.
And this right here, what difference is it for this? Is this the same?
It's the exact same thing. It's just they changed the packaging because
okay.
Testors has changed the packaging labels on all of the products right now to be more craft-centric, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't bring up, well, you know, one thing that I have is back to like super glue.
Testors has their own super glue.
That's good.
Oh, so here you go. Here's the double pack with the large tube.
And I have no idea where this came from. I just grabbed it running in here, and I have somewhere from a long time ago buying a collection. I kept it just because it's cool, but it's hard as a rock. I have a tube glue from the 70s. That's that orangish red.
Is it in the lead? The lead.
Yes,
thing?
It is. And I thought I had it up on my.
The container was more dangerous than the actual.
I know, yeah, it is. And looking at it, I'm like, oh wow, yeah. But I have one of those, and I wanted to bring it out here, but I'm not sure where it's at. But tube glue. An interesting thing about the tube glue. I'll show this video clip right here. He's always been getting this, and he always sells it. I haven't used it since the 70s.
No, I still sell that. I just opened that box today.
Oh, I know. And as you see, what Andy said, he says it's the fastest selling glue. He is constantly buying boxes of it, putting it out, and it's gone. And he's replenishing and replenishing and replenishing. It's the fastest selling. It's the best-selling glue. Always has been.
Well, I mean.
And I don't know
I
any.
didn't switch over
anybody.
to Tamiya until like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
I was using the Testors cement for forever.
I was I never liked these watery things. I was always against them. I was
You
into.
can keep your watery glue.
I was for the longest time just buying,
Stay off my lawn.
Doro super glue from, the
Dollar store?
from the grocery store when I go grocery shopping.
Oh, okay.
Because it was, 90 cents or something. It was
Right.
cheap. And then I got into the Bob Smith stuff, and I swore this was all I ever used. And then I started realizing there's different things for different things.
Yes.
And it took me a while, but then what became my absolute favorite, my baby right here, extra thin from Tamiya, the quick setting.
The quick setting.
Because I first got extra thin, which I don't have any here. Your dark bottle,
Yeah.
dark green. I don't like that.
No? Does
It takes too long. This stuff, like what you were talking about, what your dad showed you with the tester stuff, so I gotta play with some of that testers, is, man, I can put things together so fast with that.
Yes.
It goops up the plastic and fuses it together.
Yep.
And it gives you, it sets, and you get it, and it's together, but you still have movement for a while.
Yeah, a
that
little
you
bit of
can
movement,
kind of
yeah.
adjust things.
This stuff here, if you use this stuff and you use it in the same way you're using that there, and you clamp your part, could be whatever piece you want. You clamp the part, you got to keep an eye on it that clamp doesn't cause that to shift
I don't.
at all, because I've been burned on that by a couple
Oh
of times.
yeah, and
It does take a good few minutes.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm impatient. I mean, I don't even drink coffee.
I
I just take a spoon and I scoop up the Taster's Choice and I just chew it. I don't have time for it to perk. I don't have time for that.
Taster's Choice?
I don't have any time for that. I just need the coffee. When I get up, I gotta have it now.
Robust Folgers.
It's just, I don't have time for the water going through to Mr. Coffee to do its thing.
He makes his own water.
Doesn't matter. I make it all right here. But now we're getting gross. But this stuff has just turned into my all be all. Because like super glue.
Here's the thing about that stuff, though.
Super glue was like, I always liked it because it was fast, but super glue was like, and then it's there. This gives you movement.
Yes. And you also have less chance of leaving fingerprints, fogging the part, blah, blah, blah. All the things that go along with super glue stuff, gluing yourself together. But here's the thing about this stuff, though. You have to have the two pieces together and ready to go.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I like using the orange stuff, which is, to me, is thick set stuff.
Yeah. See, I bought some because I heard that.
And that stuff is perfect for when you have a part and you have to bring another part over because they're too big to hold together, type of thing, and you have to go around the perimeter or something, like you're doing two engine block halves together.
Yeah.
So I like this stuff's nice and thick. It goes on there. It doesn't go away very fast.
Really?
Yeah, because it's thick.
Well, yeah,
stuff.
I can see that, and I think
you put it on there and you put your two pieces together and you can hold them and then remove any excess that comes out and anything that squishes out. But if you're doing two large pieces, this guy you're going to have to do it in sections.
Yeah.
Because it goes away too fast.
True.
This stuff here, the same deal, is you don't want to put it on half of
evaporates.
something. Exactly. So this has staying power.
Huh. And I bought this and put it up on my shelf. I haven't even opened this yet, so because I bought it to want to try it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give that a shot.
Right.
But let's talk about the tube glue.
Okay, we're back to that.
We got to be, because that's the thing is basically we have established that we use all these different adhesives.
Yes.
We don't use tube glue, but we're starting to wonder why. It's the best-selling glue there is, and why there's people that still use it and swear by it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, why? If you use this, please say something down in the comments below. We want to know.
Is it because it's something you grew up with and you're comfortable with it?
Yeah, is it just
or
that?
do you feel that it has a superior bonding?
Yeah.
Rather than the thin stuff, because both Tamiya and Testors have their own versions of that.
Yeah.
And then of course there is all the other guys out there like Plastrux, and then what's this one, Flexifile?
Yeah.
This is their MEK type of stuff. Now, I just want to make a quick thing here.
Well, I hope it's very quick.
This plastic weld stuff, I don't remember where I got it from. I have never used it. And the bottle is nearly empty because it just disappears all by itself.
Wow.
Yes, it's some Harry Potter
Yeah, I
stuff
know.
going on
Well,
there.
that's what 10X does too, and I
So
think that
maybe
stuff
this
is the same stuff.
This is formulated similar to that. Now, I was talking to John, you know, the famous John.
We're all the Tamiya stuff, so John, this is definitely where you gravitate to.
Yeah.
And he said
The famous John.
The famous John. He said that this quick setting stuff is basically Tamiya's brand of MEK.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And it is also their big bottle of airbrush cleaner.
Airbrush cleaner.
The airbrush
That's right.
cleaner, it's the same
That's
stuff.
right. Glad I don't use a plastic airbrush.
Yeah. It kind of scares me, you know, and I got that airbrush cleaner.
Well, no more.
But I'm not that into that. I don't know. I just don't like the extra thin. I like the extra thin. Quick set.
Well, that's why they have such a wide
That's what's
selection of
nice.
stuff.
I'm really looking forward to trying this, but I'm so curious about the. See, with tube glue, when I see tube glue, the whole phrase in our hobby of when you buy a buildup and it's called a glue bomb.
Yeah.
This is what creates glue bombs, and I think, you know, mostly kids build glue bombs. When we buy a glue bomb, it was probably built by a kid. And you think about that and the treachery of you trying to restore that model, breaking it apart, the damage and the warpage and the weird, and like you said, that roof sunk and
Yeah.
it distorts body panels and stuff. But kids have a tendency to go like toothpaste, and maybe
And that
the
was,
trick is small amounts.
Perhaps so, because that was what I would fall victim to. Is I would do. I'm just going to run a bead of glue here down this part, and then boop, and then next thing you know, these things are like warping and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean.
So that's
I
why
don't
I
see-
never had any interest in this, and I was always shocked that people still used it. And then to find out that it's his best-selling glue, you know, at least I bet you at a lot of hobby shops.
Probably so.
He's always bought tons of this stuff because it flies off the shelves. Who the heck is buying it?
Preppers.
So,
I'm not seeing
so now
anything on
I'm
here
freaking curious about it.
I'm not seeing anything on here that gives like a suggestion of amount.
Yeah, I can't read it because I gotta go
Directions.
to eyeballs.
Apply cement directly to plastic. Keep out of the face of children. I could be reading stuff that's not there. Press firmly together, so you press whatever you're gluing firmly together. Hold parts together for 20 seconds.
No kidding.
20 seconds. That's going to slow up my build time. You multiply 20 seconds per part.
Oh
That's
my.
a 150 part kit. That's many seconds.
Wow.
So yeah, allow 2 hours dry time for maximum strength. So wow, that is
That's kind of interesting.
okay. So 2 hours for maximum strength, 20 seconds hold time. So that gives you a good amount of time to get a couple things together and get it figured out, get it centered and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm really curious about it. But it probably is a preference thing, but I'm going to give it a try because now I'm so curious of how many people actually use it.
Well, you see, that's why I came up with the idea that I wanted to challenge myself. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to challenge myself
Yeah, definitely.
to use this on the next build that I want to do.
Yeah, there you go. I'll probably do that too.
And I'm
I don't know
thinking
which
perhaps
one, but
because the way I use super glue is I take like a little bottle cap from a water bottle and I'll put a little dab of super glue on there and I'll use a toothpick or something to
Yeah.
transfer that to the kit. I do remember this stuff being stringy
Yeah.
and looking like, I mean, I had model
Yeah, that
kits
can be
where
scary.
it looked like Spider-Man sneezed on my.
Yeah.
It's just strings going all over the place. I'm like, if I wanted that look, that would have been cool, but sorry.
But maybe it's just like, maybe there's a technique, develop a technique where like you put it in there and it's like a little tiny bit. I think it's small amounts at a time.
Sounds good.
It's interesting. It's really, really interesting. It's been around forever,
Yeah,
and
and there's a couple variations
there's-
of it too.
yeah. So, I'm willing to check it out. I happen to have them, so why
I
not?
don't think you got a picture of this, but over at Hobby Lobby they have this reddish orange or this poppy red stuff, poppy orange, poppy red, Ford red, and then they have the blue tube, and then they have a couple other tubes and stuff for working with foam, styrofoam,
Oh, no kidding.
so it doesn't melt the styrofoam, I guess, and then one for
That'd be good for
gluing up-
dioramas.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it's for. And then another one for gluing balsa woods and soft woods together. So I'm like, Testors has that figured out.
Testors is the adhesive king, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that. I don't know. You know, it's different. You know, to me, I mean, they're all different. I really love the Tamiya. They're really working towards, you know, they're just concerned about plastic.
Well, I remember.
But it seems like Testors is like taking care of all the hobby materials.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess Testors will always be.
Well,
We stand corrected, but we got so beat up by saying Testors is gone.
right, but
I can't believe you made me make that show.
didn't take a lot of cajoling.
No.
But
What was that word?
cajoling.
Ooh, a new word. Hold on.
Yeah. It's spelled cajoling.
Oh, neat. That's all. Now I got
Three-
accoutrement and now
And
cajole.
cajoling. If you break it down into its 3 syllables, there's 3 different nationalities there.
Excellent. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay.
But I remember when I was a kid going to the hobby shop, and, you know, I always went to the MPC shelf or the Revell shelf or whatever. And then, of course, there's all the stuff for Testors, you know, paint, glue, whatever.
Yeah.
So, very, very familiar with that stuff. That was the other aisle around the corner that was the Tamiya stuff, right? And it was like, oh, they got a lot of battleships and they got a lot of military vehicles and stuff, and I wasn't into building that stuff as a kid. I'm like, oh, they got car kits. Okay, cool. Let's see how much a car kit is. Oh my God. I have to have 6 paper routes to cover that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, they have their own, they have their own paint also. Wow, they're trying to be Testors, you know, type of thing. And it's like, wait, now they have their own glue? Will this never stop? And now I have like just about everything Tamiya makes.
And have
It's
become
available
such
here,
Tamiya
yes.
fanboys. I know I was the same way with
Yeah.
you. That whole Tamiya section, and I always was intrigued because there were so many Tamiya car kits that were like, ooh, they intrigued me. But
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
but they're in silly boxes and they're 3 times as much. Well, now it's kind of funny how Tamiya's prices never really went up
You know,
a lot
Right.
compared to the other manufacturers. And now an AMT kit costs you $40, and you can pick up a Tamiya kit for $45,
right. And,
$50.
and then I buy a lot of Tamiya kits at model swap meets. And those
Oh, yeah.
prices are always very good.
Yeah.
But speaking of price increases, you know, we've heard recently that Tamiya had put out a thing saying that their prices are all going to go up for everything that they sell here in the United States, models and RC cars, everything.
Yeah.
So, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
Everything else is going up.
Yeah.
And then we've heard people have actually commented on the show and stuff and said, has anybody heard about Testors skyrocketing in price also?
Yeah.
And yes, we have heard about that. But the price increase for Testors seems like it was more than the price increase that Tamiya was talking about doing.
No kidding.
Yeah, so
Bad.
if you notice that also, or if you've noticed the opposite of that, let us know, because I'm curious. You know, we get a lot of people that comment from all over the United States.
Yeah.
So you can actually track this regionally by comments.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know where you're at too when you make it in the comments. It's
Right.
all very interesting because we read the comments because we want this information.
Oh,
We bring it back to you.
speaking
So
of regional,
I was talking and had my hands in front of me. So be sure to do that. This is probably better for everybody.
thank you, Dreiser.
I'm just not a television guy.
So speaking of regional stuff, you know, we were in Kentucky last weekend
You were in Kentucky last week.
for the Winterfest show, which is amazing. If you're into sci-fi and
I might
fantasy
go
type
to it.
stuff, we were talking about it last night. We're gonna go again.
You are?
Probably not gonna do 2023, but we will go back again. And for
Mm-hmm.
us, it was a let's just kind of scope this out and see how it goes. Well, we bumped into Tim Brown out there, right, Mr.
Oh, I
Thorpower.
know him.
Bumped into him, and
Did he fall down? You're kind of a big guy.
no, actually.
Well, he's kind of a big guy too.
He is a big guy, but he did something that I didn't even consider doing. He had printouts of all the schedules because we missed. We want to go to this thing, and we wanted to try this technique class, and we wanted to sit in on this, so we had this whole list of stuff we wanted to do. And next thing you know, you're in the vendor room, you're talking to people, you're shopping, you're poking around and stuff like that. They're making announcements on the PA. You're not listening to that at all. At least I don't.
Yeah,
and
I know
the place
you
could
don't.
have burned down, I wouldn't have known.
You're looking at that Millennium Falcon.
I'm looking at that Millennium Falcon and the Bad Batch ship that they're coming out with.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
how
a
cool.
photo to show you. But
That's a cool ship.
I'm like, freaking Tim printed everything out on it and had everything highlighted on there. I'm like, okay, how many times have you done this? He's like, quite a bit.
30.
So I'm like, okay, notes to self. So
Yeah.
when me and the Mrs. B, you were talking about last night, she's like, first thing we got to do is we got to get an itinerary with a planner and highlighters. And she's like going down the whole like college prep list and stuff. And I'm like, I have a good time. I like the things.
Whoop-de-doo.
I'm not in the house today. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So it turns out, speaking of the regional thing, I've been saying Louisville like that.
Yeah.
Completely wrong.
Yep,
It's
you have.
Louisville.
Louisville.
And that is an awesome town.
It is. I haven't been there since the 80s, but I liked it when I was
It's
there.
so cute. It was so
We used to
cool.
have fam-
Everybody there was super nice.
Yeah, we used to have really close family friends there. And went there a few times and would spend like a week or something.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
And I loved it.
We just had to make sure we pack up on the allergy meds because the cottonwoods were blooming. It was like it was snowing out, but the sky was blue. It's like, this is weird. And then the hotel. You're sitting in the hotel parking lot and you look over and go, what the hell is that over there? Oh, that's the airport. Okay, great, because we flew into a completely different airport. And Mrs. BG, bless her heart, can sometimes be challenged with directions when it comes to the cell phone thing. So she's like, are you feeling like a coffee? I'm like, oh, I could kill for a coffee. So she types in for the nearest Starbucks and she's giving me directions. And we leave the hotel parking lot and we get on the freeway for like 50 feet and then we're getting off the freeway. I'm like, why is it taking us to the airport? And she's like, wait a second. Oh, it's taking us to the Starbucks in the airport. Hard laugh. Get off the freeway.
Oh, the trials and tribulations of travels.
Oh, yeah.
You like that? Trials and
Tribulations of travels.
We could make a movie of that. We probably won't, but
The
now
TTNT
somebody...
of travel. But almost had it.
Car crash.
So, speaking of car
But
crashes.
wait, before we go into that and continue on, let's take a station identification.
Break.
You're watching the Luka Cee channel on YouTube.
And we're back. See how that works? Isn't that neat?
Aren't we supposed to stop the camera at least? Alright, so anyway, let's move on to the second part of the adhesion conversation. Decal adhesion. So yeah, so we're going to throw these in the trash.
Yeah, you better put your BG up there.
Yes. So there's that. And you can do decals with
Yes,
this,
you
but
can.
You can do
I
decals with
I have done that before. When you have some challenges.
Yes, definitely when you have all the challenges.
I've actually, back in the day when I made decals, before we had computers that had decal film you could print out, I had made decals from the product themselves and got the paper off the box.
Oh wow.
And
it's very industrious of you.
yeah, I did a couple of NASCARs, fictitious. There was no, I made up a thing. I wanted to use like Purex. It was long before Purex ever sponsored a NASCAR. I did this in the late 80s. I've showed that model before. I'm actually going to restore it.
Is Purex the hand sanitizer?
No, Purex a laundry detergent.
Oh, okay.
And so I had a Purex box. I cut the logo out. I dunk it in water. Well, no, I shot clear over it. Dunk it in water. Got
so it doesn't
all the
disintegrate.
paper off the
Yeah.
back. So it kind of kept just the surface paper on the clear and the dye and all that stuff.
That's
and then I
fascinating.
used white glue or Mod Podge. I always call it hodgepodge. I don't know why.
Hodgepodge.
Mod
Hodgepodge means a mess.
Hodgepodge Lodge. There was a PBS show back in the 70s called Hodgepodge Lodge.
We're off to the forest to see Miss Tree. She lives in a house that is mostly green, except for the chimney and windows and walls.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell it was. Anyways, so Mod Podge. I laid that down and laid it onto the car that way. That's
Nice.
how I made decals.
So that's
It was a
like-
little thick, but what other choices you have?
In the world of interior design, that's called decoupaging.
What do I was building model cars.
No,
But-
I'd used white glue as a kid because I would cut out stuff out of magazines, like the logo off of
Yeah,
something,
they're
and
the
I
same
would stick
thing.
it to the model car side, and I would use a thinned down white glue on that.
Yeah.
But what was really cool was if I didn't like it, it comes right back off again.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
didn't like a lot of them.
I wasn't really that. It was all in that. No, true. And then when I started when more decal companies were coming out, and we had more, especially for us guys who like to build race cars, it was like good old Fred Cady,
Fred
and then
Cade.
J&J Decals. They did all this NASCAR stuff. And we started having more decals to choose from. Started doing a lot of decaling. And you have some issues with it laying down, and then probably late '80s, early '90s, especially monogram decals were garbage. And you really needed some kind of setting solution or something.
Well, I just found that out about the Revell or Dale Earnhardt Jr. kit that I was working on.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
Junkative.
Yes.
Good thing you found that the great Mike's Decals
Well, yeah,
power
well,
slide.
somebody commented and said, why don't you just wait for Mike's Decals to have his come out? I'm like, I'll be good. I'm a decent builder type of thing. And then I tried it. I put 2 decals on the car, and I ended up taking off 2 decals off the car.
Yep, I was there.
You were
I
there.
saw it happen. You were like, I'm going to order these. Why bother?
Yeah.
I said, absolutely, dude. You'll like yourself so much better.
So hopefully they're up for sale soon.
Yeah, they're really cool. Yeah, and well, they will. And Mike Herman, that is just a great company, and those power slide decals are amazing. All the Salvino's JR models kits, that's who does their decals. So their decals are
And I've heard
just extraordinary.
Clay Kemp draws for some of that stuff.
Drawers, yes.
Drawers.
He draws.
If you'd like a measured drawing, you know that reference?
Yeah, he is the artist. But and you all watched my little series. I mean, I made some beautiful mistakes. I know you were making fun of me about the amount of clear
Yes.
I put on that bad Nana Jamma.
I was like,
But,
I asked him, why didn't you just dip it?
I know, it was, experiments is yeah, no kidding. I should.
Right.
But honestly, laying those decals down, they were so fantastic. Even, the whole color thing that takes up most of the side of the car and wraps around the
Yeah.
top and all that. It works so good. And the trick is, what I found when you go to use power slide decals on that NASCAR, this really,
The Mark
truly
Edwards.
is the stuff. to
better
use.
than the Microsoft.
I'll tell you why. And this was the first decal setting solution that I got, and I loved it. It saved my life so many times. I love this stuff. It's really, really, this is good for really difficult decals. Or like if you have a set of old decals, like from kits, like Monogram that were garbage, and they would just curl up on you, you gotta use this stuff. This doesn't even phase it. You gotta go for the heavy guns. But this stuff on power slide decals and I'm pretty sure a lot of your modern, and definitely Tamiya decals, a lot of your modern kit decals, this stuff was not too strong, but perfectly strong enough.
Interesting.
And the thing that I liked about this, if you watch my video, and I know it's in your watch list,
It is.
that I continually put it on. I put it on
Yes,
first.
you have to
I
keep
lay
it
the
wet.
decal down. I lay down. I work it out. I work all the start at one end and work everything out, all the air, and then when I have
Just keep-
curvatures,
Just keep zhuzhing it.
you zhuzh it up. And another one of your words.
Another one of my
This stuff I kept applying, especially on areas that had to conform around something, and it'd be kind of, you have something like that, and the decal's kind of going over it like that, and you got to get that decal soft.
Yeah.
And then it lays down. I'd put a little bit more on, I'd let it sit, I put a little more on, and I worked it, and it didn't melt the decals or anything. It got
Perfect.
them nice and soft, but where this stuff has a tendency, both of them, I think
Well,
this
first of
one,
all,
this
the
one
set-
more than, let's see,
The
softens decal. This kind of softens them up a
Yeah.
bit too much to where they almost start to distort.
Well, yeah, my experience with the Sol is it will help stuff soften up so it can hunker
Yeah,
and can form around some detail, but not all detail.
yeah,
So if you have like a grill and you have to put a decal over the grill piece, it won't give you all that detail.
yeah,
And a lot of times that's probably because the decal is too thick in its own right.
yeah, exactly.
But I built a lot of Hasegawa kits,
Yeah,
and their decals are extremely thick. I mean, I remember breaking one and I heard it snap.
oh my goodness.
Snap! I was like, what the hell? So, I mean, they are super thick, and this stuff doesn't like it.
No,
The Mark Fit stuff does.
yeah.
Will attack it.
It's almost like you gotta do a little testing before.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. And sometimes, depending on what brand kit you're building, or what brand decals you're buying, you're gonna have to switch it up to something else.
Yeah,
Because maybe this is a little too strong for whatever formulation that decal film was made
yeah,
out of.
that stuff, the micro, you got micro set.
Yeah, and that you put that down before you put down the decal. That's actually
Actually,
the
this
adhesive
is
promoter.
interesting. I grabbed the wrong thing. This is I didn't even know I had this.
Liquid de-icer.
No, yeah, liquid decal film.
Oh,
This is
I've never
basically
used that.
this is basically to restore old decals so they don't break apart. And you can take that and brush it. This is basically
Oh,
just,
so you put that over
this
the
is
old
just
decal.
clear. I just do it with clear. I don't even know why I have this bottle. And it's in blue, so it can fake you out. You got to be
Yeah,
careful.
no.
If I ever use that for,
Wow, that
that's
is-
the micro set.
That is
And then you might-
extremely close.
that was not too smart there, micro, whatever you are, micro scale. Micro saw, because we don't, us model builders, we don't read. We look at colors.
The instruction sheet is just there to protect your work surface.
Yes. We don't read, we look at colors.
All right, so I have a
Pictures.
picture. I took a picture of those to send you.
Groovy. But this stuff here is so freaking hot. It will make, if you put, you got to be real careful with it because it will actually take your decal, like let's say it says good wrench across your offset and it goes gold rush
Yeah.
and it starts to get a little wiggly, especially if it's a little small.
Have you ever noticed that this smells a lot like vinegar?
It smells so much like vinegar. I would say it's probably vinegar.
Yeah. So I remember talking to a couple of old timers, meaning somebody who's older than me,
Wow, that'd be pretty old.
that they were talking about, like, I don't know why you guys use this, you know, it was at a hobby shop type of thing, I was buying a jar of that stuff. I don't know why you use that stuff, back in my day we just made our own decal solvent. I'm like, how? He goes, well, we just get out the jar of vinegar and we figure out our own dilution formula for it, and then, you know, every decal is a little bit different type of thing. He goes, yeah, so we would make our own solvent.
Wow.
Decal solvent. I'm like, I'm like, you know, it makes sense because we've seen old builds in magazines and stuff,
Yeah.
and they're decaled and they look amazing. And it's like,
Yeah.
how come they could do that now? We have this technology today, but they're doing an even better job back then
Yeah.
because everything causes cancer back then. It causes
Yeah, and
cancer.
nobody cared. Because
Yeah.
everybody was smoking.
Because that solved a lot of problems.
Yeah, I watch Perry Mason every morning and everybody's smoking.
Oh yeah. Well, I was
It
watching
looks cool.
a video about I was watching a video about the history of Hanna-Barbera the other day, and the Flintstones were doing a commercial. on
Oh
this.
yeah, Winston commercials.
Yes, yes. Fred flicks his lighter open and the top
Bonnie!
goes up, and two sticks come out and start rubbing together, start the fire. I'm like,
Bonnie, if you want a good smooth, smoke, you gotta have yourself a Winston.
and we are now demonetized.
Like that.
Like that. So Mr. Hobby, I guess, also has their own brand of all this type of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Too. I think Mr. Experiment himself has some of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But he's unreachable right now because he's on the road to Ohio.
He no longer lives in Phoenix, Arizona, or the Phoenix, Arizona area, I should say.
Yep.
He's not-
It was a sad parting.
Yeah.
But once he stopped crying, it was all cool.
Oh, did he finally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we
Bye,
flogged this horse
James.
enough?
That was fun. Yeah, I think we beat it right to hell.
Yeah.
Or heck.
It is
I don't
not.
want to swear and say
We went
hell.
right past the tender steak area and right into the hamburger part of this, of the horse beating.
Pulverized. And the program director never came in and shouted at us.
Yeah, well, he got demoted.
Yeah, he did.
Where's my coffee?
He ain't even doing that well. I might
He ain't even
promote him
doing
just
that
because he's not doing the job well.
He brought me a cup of coffee yesterday and it was green.
Did it have a? Did it have a little bit of a lacquer
Yeah, a
smell?
little bit of a lacquer smell. It wasn't too bad. It
Whatever.
was extra time with the dentist today. They're like, how's the
yeah.
black? I'm like, black's fine, but you got green in here.
Yeah, what's
Looks like lacquer. I'm like, oh, okay. I know where it came
straight? That's right. You know that what a trooper we have here. He went to the dentist before he came to the studio. Everybody down in the comments below.
It's all those cookies.
You know, yeah.
It's all those cookies that keep
Yeah,
having.
yeah, you keep having yourself a cookie every
Yeah.
time. You're very proud of yourself.
I've been very proud of myself lately. Cookie.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm getting a little too proud, I think. Well, yeah, we beat this to death. I think, you know, we had a great show. Back to you guys. You're a part of it. Tell us what you think in the comments below.
Or
Hey,
on the Facebook page.
And on the
Continue this
Facebook,
conversation
get
on
on
Facebook.
the Facebook page. Talk about that and this. And we've got the Luka Cee Model Car Hobby headquarters page. We've got the
BG scale model workbench. I don't remember what
you
I call
blew
it.
it.
now.
You
I
just
blew
blew
it.
it.
That one.
And
And that one's open to all genres.
all genres of
Genre.
model building.
It's open to all genre and accoutrement,
Of
especially
model.
if you feel like just judging some stuff.
Zhuzh.
Judging.
And what was that other word that you already forgot?
I already forgot.
I don't know. I'll find out
Is
later.
one of these things open? Because I have no memory of anything right now.
As far as you know.
Okay. I'm planning to smoke.
Are you? Wow. Hey, this was a fun one.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
And
was. So thank
you
you,
got-
Mike, for the
Yeah, thank
Michael
you,
for the
Mike,
suggestion.
and let's thank both of them. We got to. This is how professional. And Richard Clemens,
Yes, thank you, Richard, for the awesome
Michael Sproul.
for the awesome deal. And
Guys, get on
that's
there.
why we like having the Facebook page, so you can contact us with ideas for videos,
What you'd like to see.
talk about the videos, share, because sometimes we don't get to them. The other day, for some reason on YouTube, I was not able to, either on my phone or on the computer, read comments.
Yes, that happened.
was a
yes.
thing, yeah, so-
that happened either yesterday or today or
Right.
the other day. Something
Right.
like that.
So I was like, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, you guys are part of this. You know, we created this whole idea of the show is to discuss what you guys want us to discuss.
Exactly.
So keep on with what you want to hear us talk about. We'll talk about anything that has to do with model cars because we, after all, we are
The model car guys
on YouTube.
on YouTube.
So that's BG,
And that's Luka Cee.
and we'll see you in the next episode. We're kind of keeping this every other week.
Yeah,
Pretty
kind of trying
consistent.
to do it, yeah.
Yeah, unless something goes wrong. And, well, let's go to
Let's
Andy's.
go to Andy's. All right. Here's the producers. Read all the names because they are important, each and every one of them.
Yes, they are. Oh my goodness, yes. Let's go to Andy's. Wow!
You need a new one of those now. This is cluttered over here. I got no place to go.